Like, so what are you growing?
Growing, you know, I'll show you a few things here. I mean, a lot of it is like fine herbs and vegetables and things, and there's no bulb. You know, we just pick the leaves and we give that to the kitchen.
Oh,
these are just coming on. You know, they'll be ready probably in another 2 weeks, and then we'll start harvesting.
You can eat nasturtiums?
Yeah, you can eat the leaves and the flowers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We're kind of waiting for them to start flowering, and then we can start harvesting like the leaves and the flowers and everything.
And
that's something that it's a good example of how, you know, like working directly with a restaurant, they can ask me for exactly what they want. You know, if you like spicy stuff, you should try some of these the blossoms. These things are great. They're really, really hot. Oh man, they're so spicy. I love them. I'm gonna start picking them like this.
Like grapes.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, they're good though.
Yeah, it'll sneak up on you. You know, everything that we grow for the microgreens is a flavor component of the dish. Like some of them just kind of look cool, but we really focus on the ones that add a lot of flavor. So it's a lot of spicy mustard greens, it's a lot of herbs, that kind of thing. And then what we're working on, though, you can see we got all the tomatoes planted on the bottom. That's kind of the story here. And you know, tomatoes really they produce so much better if you keep them out of the rain and everything like that. So it's a little bit of an experiment. It's not a lot of plants, but you know, the ones that are in here should produce really well for us. So I'd love to cover this whole thing in a greenhouse.
Yeah, we should talk to you.
Yeah, just set up a second one right here. But if we wanted to do a lot more like bigger 12-month, like all-year production, then we would build a bigger greenhouse. And I mean, this greenhouse paid for itself in the first year in terms of like all the microgreens and all the plants that we were able to grow ourselves instead of buying them from a greenhouse. If this is a comparable product to like maybe the organic farmers that sell at Union Square, you know, what would they charge for something like this? Okay, this is kind of like a rough dollar value of what we're growing here. Greenhouses are expensive up front, but you can grow so much more food in them, so it makes sense if you can make the investment. You know, the more we can grow here, the better. You know, it's like less trucks that have to come down to the city and all that kind of stuff.
That's a good point too.
Yeah. If you like, I can show you the compost system back here, and it's back behind that gray wall. To make good compost, you need air. Like the bacteria and fungus in the compost are yeah, they're aerobic, exactly. And so instead of
there are worms,
there's a bunch of worms in the compost. We finished the compost with worms, and it just makes it a lot like easier to work with.
How do you keep them over the winter though? Don't they freeze?
Yeah, they kind of bury into the middle of the compost piles.
They're okay.
Yeah, and they're usually fine.
I guess it's warm in there, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean it can be for many months, you know. You know, for instance, this pile is pretty much done. We would just have to go through and then screen off all the bigger things, so like these pieces of sticks and things like that, wood chips. And so it usually takes us about 2 weeks to build the pile. So when the bin is empty, bringing food waste from the kitchen out here, mixing it with wood chips, and you know, this is like sunflower plants from last year and stuff like that. 2 weeks to build the whole pile, and then you know, it gets very hot. It gets up around 160 degrees just from that aerobic activity, and then the pile will reduce in volume and the temperature goes down. And then we take it over into these bins and screen it off and let it sit for another, it's like 6 weeks. And then to get from there to here, and then 6 weeks we let it sit here, and then it's usable compost. So it's like 3 months total.
Well, that's pretty fast.
Yeah. And so this is the finished stuff. And I mean, it's really great. It's really good compost, and you know, one advantage of the really hot piles is that it'll kill all the weed seeds that are in there. It'll kill any potential pathogens and like bad, you know, fungal diseases and things like that. Yeah.
Or maybe it was a special.
Oh, like a special tool or something like that?
Yes,
No, I just
yes.
busted up my thumb the other day, so I'm just keeping it covered up.
Not a green thumb.
Or yeah, exactly. Well, our chef de cuisine was like, "What? They don't make green ones for you guys?" Like, he's like, "You're not allowed to use the blue ones. You have to use the green ones."